Hey guys, rigid R872081. This subcompact impact wrench came out about a year and a half ago. Well, the newest battery for it, the 4 amp maximum output EXP 21700 tablet cells. Well, I just got the latest Cobalt, subcompact, just got it at Lowe's. We're going to try the 4 amp hour ultimate output. Wait a few more minutes here because I put a post out yesterday and somebody wanted to see the new Cobalt take the year and a half old subcompact rigid on. So I don't think it's going to be even close. The rigid has 2,800 RPMs, and the Cobalt only has 2,500. And the rigid has 3,800 impacts per minute, and the Cobalt only has. Let me get the box. The Cobalt, this new Cobalt only has 3,400 impacts per minute. So the rigid has 400 more. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Okay, it looks like we got enough to get going here. We'll get this test going slowly. I'm doing a morning thing here. It's about 10 o'clock on Saturday morning because I got stuff to do in the evening. Okay, let's run the rigid first. Okay, now let's run the Cobalt. Now let's remove the opposite. Oh, I got that set on that crazy setting again. Let me turn that thing off. Actually, let's leave it on. Let's see if this has it. I kind of doubt it, but let's try to see what it does. Yep, it does the same thing. Look at that. Slows it down before it throws off your whatever it is you're taking off. Okay. Hey, from Turkey. Okay. Let's put it in with rigid again. Oh, this one you have to do it the other way. I'm gonna just turn that thing off anyhow. I don't really want it. Good, it is off. Okay. Let's install one with the Cobalt now. Now let's remove the opposite. Let's turn this thing. Actually, let's just leave it on. Look at that. Okay. Okay, I think we figured out that. I think we're warming it up pretty good. Okay. Now let's come up with a different. Yeah, they do make great tools in Chechnya. Uh-huh. Well, along with not only that, they also make great guns too. They also make great guns in Turkey too. I know, I own a couple. Okay, let's move on here. Let's figure out what to run next. Okay, now let's run. Let's skip right up to, well, let's not go that big, but okay. Not that big. Okay. Yep. Okay. Let's see what the battery's at. Still fully charged on the Cobalt. Still fully charged on the Rigid. And this is tablet cell technology. And this is just 21,700 cells. Now, they say this, I know I can already tell by using it, has more power when you run the 8 amp. We start to get the bigger stuff, I'll put the 8 amp on. That should be able to compete with the tablet cells in the Rigid. Okay. Now, let me find the socket. Oh, what do you know? I did find it. Okay. Good, I did find it. Okay. Okay. Brother. Time to get the old you know what. Okay. Okay. Time to get the old, pliers. Okay. Pliers always work. Or as I say, vice grips. Okay. Let me go get the right socket. Because the Cobalt is 3/8 inch drive. The Rigid's 1/2 inch drive. Okay. I think this is the size. Nah, a little too big. Yep. Okay. Here we go. Okay, let's run the Cobalt. Battery's still fully charged. Let's run this 3/8 by 5 inch lag. We'll put it in the same hole that we already used in the other fasteners. Well, that's kind of junk. Let's get my gloves. That snapped. Well, that's why I got all these other holes. Okay. We all know that's there, so that's trash. Okay. Let's try this one. In fact, we dropped one cell on the battery. Let's just try it anyhow. Wow! I'm dropping them right and left. Ain't that something? Snapping these. Snapping these bolts like they're nothing. Wow. That does it all the time, the good old smack. Wow, that one's outside pretty good, so we don't have to worry about figuring out where that one is. And I think we're going to pump up the battery already. I don't think that little 4 amp hour is cutting the mustard. Considering this is tablet cells in here, this performs the same, if not better, than their 8 amp EXP version. So let's pull this 4 amp hour off that lost 1 bar and slap on this humongous 8 amp hour. Now it should be able to compete for power. Okay, I guess let us find 2 more. Let's see if one of these can go in now. Wow! I'm done using these bolts now. They're trash. They're absolute trash. Okay, we got to go about this all over again now. That's how you do that. Oh, there's 3 of them that are trash. We're not doing that anymore. Nope. Okay. It definitely could snap bolts. Okay. Let's just try one more shot and we'll use the rigid and see what it does. Okay. That's too big. That's too big. Okay. Let's go for the trifecta. Let's see if the rigid could do it. Okay, now let's see if the cobalt can remove that without snapping it. This is a longevity test. In the slow down mode. It did it. Didn't break it either. Of course, this also installed, I think, a little bit quicker. Okay. Well, let me see what we can put in these holes. Okay. We're done using these now, I think. Let me see. How about these? They look like they'll fit. Definitely two of them will. Okay, let's see what size. Not even close. Okay. Not even close. Okay. Let's get the next size up. Okay. We got the next size up. Okay. Let's go get it. For, let's see here. We got that one. I don't want to deal with a. I'm going to put it in these holes that are not so easy to put in. I'll be testing drills when I get around to the drills with the new batteries. Hey, now I don't want to start drilling holes right now. I mean, this is life. These legs do snap, and it snapped with the weaker model too. But the more powerful model installed it with no problem. Okay. Now, what is that one? Make sure I got the right size. Yeah. That's why these tests are done by the seat of your pants. Okay. Let me try to find this one. Yep. Both of these are the same. Okay. Okay. We got it. Okay, let's install it now. These are bigger legs with the new compact cobalt. Let's try to put them in here. That's about as far as I want to go. Okay, now let's go with the rigid. Let's try to find a hole. Okay, let's move the opposite. I gotta get it out of that mode. That's starting to bug me. Make sure it's out of it. Yeah. Okay, let's try to install. just to remove it now. We all know the cobalt doesn't have the power. I mean, they're awful close in size. They're awful close. I mean, they're really close. The only thing is the rigid has tri-lights. Cobalt doesn't. Cobalt's 24 volt. This is only 18 volt. They're awful close in size. Ain't no motor burned up here. Just say these are close in size. Let me get the temperature gauge one. I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that. Because let's check the temperature on the rigid. Now don't forget it's cool here. It's only like 50 degrees here, if that. Okay. Yeah, the cobalt's noticeably warmer. Noticeably warmer. Okay. Now let's be done with those. Okay. Let's go up one more size. See how many people I got watching here. 95. Okay. Let's jump up one more size. If I can find the right bolts. We're going to run these. These are nice, and in fact, I think I can find a different size of these that are smaller. Let me look. They're slightly smaller, but not by much. Those are even bigger. I mean, it would be interesting to try to run these this size, but they're big. Okay. Let me keep looking here. Okay. Let's just run this one. This is about the one that I like the size on it. It's not too big. I mean, I got some ones that are massive. Forget that. Where's the Milwaukee? That'll be in another video. I don't have time to do all these tools. We'd be here. When I have plans to do a long video on everything in it, that means we're going to run this against probably the new stubby, and probably against the old M18 stubby that came out, what was that, 3 or 4 years ago. We'll run that. We'll run against everything. But in the meantime, I'm going to make slightly shorter videos. But when I plan on running everything, we're going to be here for 3 hours. Okay. We're going to be here for 3 hours then. That's going to be a long day. That'll have to be on a day I have nothing planned at all. Okay, let's get that set up. And let us get this one. Okay, the battery is still fully charged on the Rigid. This is their 21700 cell tablets. Okay, let's run this lag first on the Rigid. Let's just put it in here. Okay, that's as far as that wants to put it in. We see that. It's not quite up to the end of the, the threads. Okay, let's remove it. Okay, let's see what the battery did. Lost the cell for now. Okay, now let's try the cobalt in the same hole. Would help if I use two hands. We're in here. Okay, let's go with the cobalt now. Let's just reverse. Okay, let's try it in a different hole now, since that one's been used. See if we can go all the way. That's far enough. Let's see the temperature on this now. It's getting quite warm. Of course, we're going to get out and vote. How old am I? I'm 58. Let's see, my first election was 1984. And guess who I voted for? Reagan. Enough said. This is quite hot. Quite hot. This little unit gets quite hot. Not as hot. Okay, now let me see if I can remove that with the cobalt. It may not even want to do it with the batteries down too. It lost a cell. Okay, now that's enough of these lags. What I want to do next now is take this off. Yeah, I took a Metabo triple hammer, not the bolt, back to Lowe's, because I have a video in my library. If you check my library out, there's a video in there. I took a metallable triple hammer, and they said it's IP56 rated. I actually put it in the water. Well, put it this way. Uh, you should take it apart and grease up everything and clean it, and I never did and never ran right. Brought it back, they gave me another one. So whatever they say IP56 rated, no. You got to make sure you take it apart and grease it up, because it didn't sound good after that. The only tools that are really water rated are the ones that they use on ships underneath the in the water. And you know how much those cost? I thought somebody did a video last year on YouTube on one of those impacts. It was like 2 or 3 grand. It's made to go underneath the water. I'll pass on that. Okay, let me take this off. We're going to try a torque test just on the cobalt. But I do believe that, well, this lost to cell. What do you expect? Is 4 amps. But I do believe that this is not quite as powerful as the rigid, but it's also way cheaper. This is only 100. The rigid is 150 bucks. It's 150 bucks. And if you already have cobalt batteries, which the cobalt batteries, this was less than 100 hours when I bought it, and that rigid battery there is $150. The cobalt batteries are cheaper right now. I understand they're probably going to come out with tablet cells probably next year. Then these batteries are even cheaper yet. But you got to run this with the 8 amp hour. Okay. Let me move stuff out of the way here. Let us take this off. We already snapped enough legs. Okay. Now, where is that at? Oh, here it is. Okay. Let me try this. I know we're not going to run the trailer ball hitch. That's just overkill. We're going to run something much smaller. In fact, we're not even going to run it that way. We'll run it the way I had it before. It'll give time for the cobalt to cool down too. Okay. Like I say, I did return that. That was Tabo HPT triple hammer, not the bolt. So they do take back tools, but you got to also bring your receipt. And I kind of figured out that tool wouldn't be able to stand the water. No, it can't. You got to take it apart and clean it up. You can't sit there and run it for 5 minutes in water. Okay, let me get the other thing I'm looking for. Oh, here it is. Now, we will set up and run this setup. A lot smaller for torquing. Okay. I might just run. And this will be the last test for the day. To see what this thing really puts out on a small bolt, not a big one. I got to figure out a wrench for that now. Okay, I'm done using these. Still a little warm. Okay, let's see what the battery's at. Drop the cell still. Let me figure out what size that is. I know it ain't this. Nope. Okay. What I could do is maybe Okay. That should be good. Now let me get, let's see here. Okay. All we want to do is get a rough estimate how much torque this thing can do on that size of a bolt by removing it. Okay, 3/4 of an inch. Okay. Let me get the torque wrench. Okay. Now, that's 3/4 of an inch. Yeah, let's see here. That's way too big. Okay. Yep, that works. Now I don't have to switch off the, now I can run, before when we torque tested this, I was running adapters. Now we're not. We're going to try to get almost close. Even though if I were to, yeah, Trump better win, otherwise this country's toast. This country's absolute toast. I suppose if I were to leave a couple of comments at Torque Test channel, they can maybe test this maybe next month. It's, you know, they did test the DeWalt hydraulic yesterday. Okay, let's go right to 100. Let's go right to 100. Okay. Now, wow, that's really going. That's really going. Wow. There's our 100. Okay. Let us try this. Let's make sure it's got 3 bars on the battery. It's in high. Okay, it does it at 100. This is, of course, a much smaller than I had before, you know. Before we had to run extensions and the bolt was bigger. The thing about it is I don't know how much this bolt can take in foot-pounds. We'll see. Okay. Now, let's go to 125. Wow. There we go. Whew. Okay. Yep, it does 125. Okay. I don't know if this bolt's going to be able to take 150. Yeah, the threads look good on it still. Okay. Let's go 150. Let's skip it right to 175. Actually, let's skip it to 200. See, let's go 180. Now I'm going to need an extension because it's going to start getting into my my workstation. Now let me get an extension. Okay. Okay. Let's get an extension. And extension. Okay, here we go, 180. Now it won't run into my workstation. Wow. Okay. Wow. Ooh. I'm gonna need a real big breaker bar for this thing. 180. And this is as far as I'm taking this. I'm gonna need to buy a new one. Just a nice big ratchet. They make them that are 3/4 inch drive, that are 3.5 feet long. But then I'm gonna have to upgrade to a different bolt because I don't think this can take much more. Okay, this is 180 now. See what the battery's at. Still down to dropped one cell. You can do it. So, in our testing for today, we have figured out that you got to have a vice grip on. That way then it won't let loose like a wrench. But we have figured out that right now, but I'm going to have to get one hell of a breaker bar. It's going to have to be at least 3 times longer than this, if not twice, in order to be able to, you know. Yeah, I love the DeWalt 1007, but you know what the drill I use the most? The DeWalt DCD 805 hammer drill. That thing is smaller. It's not as powerful as the 1007. You got to be kidding me. It's only 800 inch-pounds, but I love it. I'll be doing some drill competitions shortly. I got a new drill coming. One that not many guys have that you can turn it into a, almost into an impact, but not quite. You can remove the chuck from it. Okay, but we've already proven now that this will remove 180 pounds on something this small. Okay, we've already proven this now. Oh yeah, the 1007, I'd say, is probably the top drill out right now. With the power it has, the Milwaukee's not even in the league anymore now. I mean, the Milwaukee is small, okay? It's tiny. It, you know, even if I am going to do a competition with all the top drills. That'll be probably in a couple of weeks. I'm in no hurry to get to all the videos, you know what I mean? I got something to do all winter, you know. Right now, we're just, there's no snow here yet, but it's getting cold. But we have proven that this is good for 180 pounds, at least. I'm going to need a way bigger breaker bar than this. A big ratchet. I'm going to need, like I say, they make one Harbor Freight has it. It's about 3 feet long. I could probably, but then the threads are still good on this. You see the threads? They're still good on it right now. They're still good on it for now, but I don't think this is going to take much more. I have to look up and see online. I know Tim from Shop Tool Reviews moves up the bigger. This might be able to take, this is at 180, it's still good. This might be able to take maybe 225. Then I'll have to go up to the bigger bolts in order, because then we want to really push this thing. We want to push this thing to what they say, 250. Actually, I'd like to push it to 300 and see if it can undo something. But I'm going to try to hit Torque Test channel up in the future to test this. I'm sure I'll be the only one talking about it. But so like I said, we all know this is good for 180 on this size of bolt. And I've already done videos that I put on my channel yesterday, and I think I did 1 or 2 today. I can't remember, but I was removing lug nuts. So this is good for lug nuts. You know, it's nice and tiny. You can't beat the price. I'm willing to bet, even if you were to run the 4 amp hour, you can still get the majority of your work done. You mean you're not going to bust 300 pounds with it, I don't think, but we'll try that too. We'll try this at high torques, setting it up, and of course they say the 8 amp hour is the best. We'll try it all, but I'm pretty sure they're going to come out, since Flex owns this company that makes cobalt, you know, Chevron, you know they're going to come out with a 21700 tablet cell for Lowe's. They're going to have to. It'll probably be called the Ultimate Output something else. Maybe Ultimate Output T. So, well, okay, guys. I'm going to go live probably in about 3 more days. We'll see how the weather is. It's supposed to rain, so. Yeah, the Atomic's good. I mean, I even have that too. In fact, that'll blow this out of the water, the little 921. But this is, let me go get the Atomic. I mean, you want to compare sizes, there's the Atomic. It's a lot bigger. Look at it. It's a lot bigger. It's much bigger. Much bigger. It's much bigger unit. This is way bigger. I got this in 3/8 drive too, because look how tiny this thing is. You really want to get this in 3/8 drive. You don't want to get it. They make it in 1/4 inch drive. That's a waste of space. 1/2 inch maybe, but 3/8 is what you want. Compactness with this thing. That way you can go underneath the car and get it in tight spots. The Atomic is way bigger, and we know it's way more powerful. It's, my God, it has 3,550 impacts, and this is not even close. This is, for impacts, this new Cobalt, for impacts is only 3,400, and for RPMs it's only 2,500. Now the Atomic, for RPMs, oh yeah, well never mind, the RPMs are the same. But we all know this is a stronger unit, but we'll throw this in a bunch too. But Cobalt's much smaller. I mean, gosh, this is much tinier. I call this a subcompact impact wrench. So, well, okay, guys. I'll post when I'm coming online again. We'll be putting this through its paces with more tools and trying to figure out the torque on it. So, okay, Eric the Bearded Tool Guy signing off.